Hi everyone, I'm Tesha from Wolfie Draws and welcome to my channel. So for this week's video, I will be drawing Alastor from Hazbin Hotel. So I started with a reference. I know references, tracing, I'm just trying to avoid anatomy and I thought that pose was amazing. So I used that, but I'm not claiming any rights, whoever that belonged to. I found it on Pinterest. Moving on. So I decided to draw him in his usual outfit. Here I'm adding the ears and the antlers. For a second it actually didn't look like Alastor. But yes, it is Alastor from Hazbin Hotel, just in my style. And I decided to do his usual outfit. I don't know how everything is called, but you can see me work on every detail separately here and also giving in the base colors. I also drew his staff. I drew the original version, like from the series, not from the pilot. And of course I used the colors directly from the reference and darkened them a bit just to fit the aesthetic, to go straight away with the right colors. Although Hazbin Hotel atmosphere is generally kind of darker because it's like hell, so the lighting is kind of dark reddish, so I think it fit very well. Because the circle in the background is kind of supposed to be like a broken glass or something like that. I wasn't sure what I was going for, but I was going for broken glass. And yes, at the moment it doesn't look like broken glass, but it's gonna be way better. So while we're getting the base colors and base parts ready, I really love Hazbin Hotel and I'm really looking forward to the new season. My favorite is Alastor's, second favorite is Lucifer, which I'm also drawing, by the way, it's on its way. So who's your favorite character from Hazbin Hotel or anything from that artist? Like, who's your favorite character? Because I also watched Hello Boss and it's really cool. So here you can see me, I'll be moving on to the face. So I went pretty simple, hard shading, then I blurred it out with a smudge tool and occasion blur. And just use that, and then I used the brush tool to add everything, to smooth it out and to give some contrast. Also added the lips, just the bottom lip. I actually left the top lip very thin. And for the teeth, I didn't have a system, I just went with something jagged. I really didn't want to focus on the small details because I wanted to get the overall picture, because the vibe of us was supposed to be creepy, like his radio demon type of thing. But yes, I think he ended up looking rather soft. I really love his intense demon form scenes, so I wanted to get that creepy mystery, dark character aesthetic he usually has. You can tell me in the comments if I managed to achieve that. But yes, so I colored the teeth, I colored the face, I colored the eyes, of course, and then the monocle, the one part of glass thingy. I also colored the beads. I'm not really sure how the beads work in his design originally, but I saw it in the show, they kind of flow like that. I'm not sure if it's a chain or if it's just tight beads, but I kept them tight. I thought it would be more visible. And then I went onto his suit. I actually found a lot of references, but I'm not sure which ones were correct, so I just kind of winged it. Like most of this drawing, I actually winged it. Okay. So, his suit. I think the colors gave me the most trouble. Like the stripes, just to get them to make sense. Because in the anime, not in the anime, in the series, they actually look really cool. For me, I'm not sure if I placed them correctly. I tried my best to go with the reference, but you can see me just put a lot of shading over everything and just erasing it where I don't like it. I learned that was easier than the lasso tool, because if you do the lasso tool, if you want to change it later to have it a bit of a bigger area, you can't just simply add it. You have to edit separately, it doesn't just exist. But if you just take a separate layer and put it on top, it already exists, so you just erase less if you want more of it. and everything. And I did his staff as normally. And here I'm focusing onto the ears and the hair. I really love his hairstyle, like the half, like just a straight cut. I really tried to mimic that. And here are his horns, which I almost forgot, I'll be honest. And they actually look like tiny moons. I really love that they kind of look like moons. They don't look like antlers, more like moons, and I think it's really cute. Also connecting to the fact that he does or doesn't have a tail. I'll let you decide that in the comments. There's some rumors he might have a tail. There's rumors he might not. But yes, so focusing on the hair, I did every strand separately, every highlight separately, and then I usually just use the smudge tool to get them smudged into the right direction so it looks like hair. And then a few darker streaks just to get that variation. Sometimes I do darker streaks, sometimes I do light ones as well. But I thought darker would go best since I'm overall going for the darker theme. And then I also blurred in the darker parts and everything so it looked cohesive and not just a chopped line. And for the ears, I actually decided to redo the dark parts on the edges because they looked kind of big and choppy, so I went with a separate like fur texture brush just to get them done properly. And for the rest, I just winged it. I have not the slightest clue on how to draw fur, but I think I executed it quite well. It was not that bad. So here you see me redoing that. It was fun. It was even funnier later when I decided to do tiny highlights on each strand of fur, so I'm gonna let you get to that. But yes, I think everything overall turned out great. I think it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, here we go, the tiny highlights. And now I'll be working on the background, which actually came out quite well considering I had no idea what broken glass looked like. So I added a bit of highlights just to pop the picture out more. I kept constantly checking it with the white color. You know when you put white on top and you click color, so it shows you like in grayscale, so you can see the values of what is darker, what is lighter. Yeah, I kept doing that, as you see I did here, just to recheck if he was popping out enough, because I wanted a really dark topic and wasn't sure if I was getting it. So this is the final picture. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye bye!